Support for this podcast comes from the patrons at patreon.com/FMLFPL. Okay! Welcome to FMLFPL Milan.
Swash.
Juices are flowing, my dude.
Why the fuck do we play this game, man?
That's it.
Crazy.
That's what people want to hear from you. These fucking perverts love a dark week, a dark Walsh. Wildcard week.
Nightmare.
Was the week fun?
As usual.
Was the tinkering, like the lead up to the game week, fun? Setting your wildcard team?
No, not really.
Why not?
It's just pure agony, you know?
Yeah.
That's really what it is agonizing over, 50 decisions and having very little clarity.
It's unbelievable also how much this could turn into a Brad segment here, Dr. Brad segment, but like how much we would amplify the negative things that happen after 1 week, right? Like, I know what you're mad about. Like, you have Botman and he's hurt. You have a stupid non, you got -2 points. But, like, also, Ariel Azuma, Cash, Bowen, Son, Alvarez, there's also a lot of good things, but those just feel like, obvious. Like, obviously, I got the guys who scored the points. And then the ones you missed just feel like I fucked up. And it's just a weird trick of the mind.
Yeah, well, the bigger issue, I think, is for me on my wildcard this week was the edges where the real hard decisions, I got all wrong. I mean,
well, not
Bowen,
all of them, right? You got Bowen.
Yeah, I mean, Bowen was one, but if I didn't have Bowen, I'd have Trips. That was the...
Yeah, but Cash Zuma.
Yeah, but they were done. Like, they were done, the last things I was looking at were really the Purvis spot, which I will, for a long time, be upset with myself about selecting
But we were
him.
talking about, maybe it was, I can't remember if it was Discord or if it was on Patreon pod, but we were talking about, like, dude, you had fucking Lamptey in your team, and, like, you had like double 3 9s and like Vardy.
I went off that pretty quickly. Like I was playing around to try and squeeze every drop of juice out of my budget.
So what were the 50-50s?
Well, the biggest one was Bowen versus Trips, I think.
Right.
Darwin just, I don't know, one of those.
I figure I might as well throw your team up here because people don't know it.
Darwin's just one of those, but Botman's the biggest one was Purvis, honestly, because that was what I was deciding at the last night was it going to be him or Udogs or Walker or Porro?
Right.
I think those were the names that, I was talking to you about.
I think those were like the exact ones you DM'd me about. Yeah.
Yeah. And they all had very specific trickle down effects. And I think the ultimate thing that I just didn't, which was nagging at me, and, it never helps when you're pro a thing when I'm anti a thing, because it has me second, triple, and quadruple guessing.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But I think the basic premise of wildcarding in and my most expensive defender I don't want to play for the next 3 weeks is just fundamentally and categorically stupid. And that should have been enough of a piece of information to just not consider him, because not only did he have 3 bad game weeks, but he also has to travel to the other side of the globe and play extra games. It just, he's playing like 5 or 6 games before I might want to start him again.
I hear you, but I also just think a lot of this is, the -2 getting auto subbed in because of a secret Botman injury that there was no way of knowing about, right? He also got a fucking gigantic chance to score a goal in the first 5 minutes of that game. And
and he's a fullback, so he didn't score. But I think it's less that.
But that's why you get him, right? Because he gets chances in the box, right? Like he could have just got an attack return, not a fluke own goal, and we're just like, oh yeah, three-pointer auto subs in. Like, that's what he does.
He also literally got ripped off at half because they couldn't deal with anything that was happening, and he couldn't get forward. And he couldn't play defense.
It wasn't good, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, you can twist into another universe where he's got whatever.
But yeah, it's frustrating.
But I mean, ultimately, the main thing is obviously I was like, I'm going to try and hide him, and also commit to having some bad defender starts, like Zuma and Cash. Like, they play each other next week. I don't love that. Like, Newcastle has West Ham next week, which I was going to have to start Botman. I don't love that. Like, just getting in the Spud guy or getting someone else. It was just so stupid.
Yeah.
It's just stupid. It was just fucking stupid.
Yeah. I mean, Walker gets 0 points. He's not going to keep starting every single game playing 90, I don't think. You know, obviously Porro gets an own goal assist, but otherwise he would have been on 1 or 2 points. Like, it's like, obviously you wish you had the Spurs guys for the fixtures, but
it would have just given me more flexibility.
But yeah, the flexibility is what hurts you, I guess. But we're talking nonstop about a stupid one, but this Botman thing really fucking rails you. Like, that's what makes your team go from like deep to really shallow instantly.
Well, it's not going to be a problem anymore because I'm just going to get rid of him right now this week. So then my team is the same exact thing with just a different person there. But what do? Edward does the Edwarding. Very standard. Standard Edward.
Vintage Edward. Yeah. No one, these people don't even know.
The Edward previous with Edward is so extreme. It's
what's just the memento thing?
Yeah, I do not believe his lies.
Don't believe his
lies. On the back, picture of Edward Howe. And then the other thing too, right? Mo literally returns every week. Like, he's bang first yellow card.
He got an assist. So
right. That's good. Hilarious. And then all that shit going on. It's just, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do here? It's a fucking mess.
Yeah.
My team. I'm fucking dumb.
So 50
I hate
points.
My team. Hate my life.
About average. Chaz Taylor left to go.
Yep. Disaster. No, I have 48 because I have Purvison minus.
Oh, fucking 40. Awesome. Purpose is awesome.
There we go. Terrible wildcard week as usual.
I'm on 46. Bayer left. I mean, Colwell 12-pointer just... I probably went up like 1 million places today or something. I wasn't actually tracking it, but earlier on Saturday, I was down over 2 million places. I just had actually 0 points, and I don't have Saka, I don't have a Newcastle defender, I don't even know who else. I mean, I don't have Villa, Ollie, Cash, Diaby, whatever. I don't have an Arsenal defender. I don't, all this shit. But yeah, Cole's 12 today just made it like basically a gray arrow with like a small chance of maybe even a green, depending on what Bayer does against Luton. So
huge time for him to do the assist.
Huge, absolutely huge. I brought in Alvarez's 8-pointer and Powell, who I benched Powell. Obviously, the Johnstone 9 on my bench hurts, but is what it is. Get one decision right, one decision wrong. It's fine.
Thank God you were priced out of Botmania. That would have been fucking horrible.
Oh my God! Yeah, I probably would have brought him in.
Oh yeah, for sure. That would have been a question.
I was considering
Burn.
Powell,
you were thinking about
Burn and Zuma, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
It wouldn't have even been a question if you could have afforded Botman.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, my team's still in good shape. Like, I don't actually feel that close to wildcard, despite like this week feeling like a disaster for like 95% of it. My team's still good. I mean, I have Raz and I have Bruno and I have Bumo, so maybe like it's not good, but I can do Bruno to Madison, and the rest of the picks are good. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
And you didn't start Johnstone. I'm so upset with you about that.
Yeah, it's okay. I got in Gahey, so like I think of it as like it's okay.
What do you mean it's okay? It's bad.
Well, it was negative. I'm not happy about it, but I got one of my decisions right. I got one of my decisions wrong. It's okay. It's hard to call games, And in the end, Man United, I think, had a lot more chances than Brentford did.
And Matt Turner plays on NFO.
Yeah. He's
baiting you.
He also
he's just not a start.
Conceded one of the most blatant pens of the weekend that was not given.
And he almost threw it in his own net.
And he almost threw it in his own net.
I mean, home Luton, home Sheffield. I mean, if they're not playing Luton or Sheffield, he's just not a start.
Probably right. No league updates. Still a match to go. Still auto subs. All this madness. Whatever. Blah, blah, blah. Where to begin? I don't even know where to begin. Should we just talk about Man United and your team? That's a nice bright spot. And
what is there to say? It's like
I know we didn't get actually any questions aside from we'll do the transfer questions later because a lot of people are like, who should I get rid of, Bruno, Rashford, or Raz? And it's like, oh my god, all of them. But Ray had a good question, which was just how/where did we get it so wrong on Man United and their team strength / is there anything we can learn from this? Which I do think is interesting because I mean, so many managers are still on Rashford, Bruno. Just like all of us were at some point in preseason, even if you didn't start with them game week 1, I guarantee you tinkered with both of them in your team at some point, right?
Yeah. We didn't get anything wrong. It's just if you still have them, you're just not reacting to the games.
Well, we got it wrong preseason evaluation, right? But we didn't.
No, I mean, I don't agree with that. I think because then you're saying the process was incorrect. I mean, there was no real reasonable information at our disposal preseason to say this team is going to be a bottom half team.
Yeah.
We've seen them, last year, half the season without a striker, and they were like, okay. I mean, that was the only thing going into the season, I think, that you could really point a finger to is, the Hodglands wasn't in and they didn't really have a striker. So we're like, all right, we know that could be a little, it's not ideal, but ultimately, again, this is a team that is a bottom half, playing like a bottom half side.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's something that anyone can point to preseason misevaluation. It's just,
I agree.
Ten Hag's, the sexual assault FC, like there's just so much stuff going on over there. And they're non-functioning and incompetent. I mean, the manager to me is just getting exposed with every passing week. And he's just not able to steer the ship anymore. And it's just a matter of when, not if. But ultimately, I think it is just, you can't keep sitting there and thinking, they have Chef U soon. Like, they're going to, it's like, I mean, how long do you do that? You can't keep doing that. You're just plummeting.
The season is too short.
Yeah.
To have very wildly underperforming bad eye test picks in your team. It's just too short. You can't afford to.
Yeah.
And they also have an injury crisis, and this happens to at least one team every season. And all of us, me, you, media, Discord, whatever team it happens to, are like, wow, this team's a fucking disaster. Wow, Klopp out. He lost the whatever. And then they're fit the next year and it's fine. I do think that just getting 3 injuries in the same position, both center backs injured, new signings injured, yada, 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 right wing sexual assault and out of the club for, I don't even know why Sancho's not in the club. All of these things, it's just it's brutal. Throwing Champions League, it's just too much. It's too much. Yeah. They're just bad.
Yeah, they're bad. They're a mess, and you should not have any of their players in your team.
Yeah,
pretty easy.
Agreed.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It really is.
It's completely straightforward. Yeah, I mean,
they're obviously
Bruno
not
D'Amato is the most nailed thing of my life.
Oh yeah, and I mean, even look at Bruno, dude. You're fucking sitting there with Bruno. I mean, he's lucky to have his points. Kind of he has a pen, he has a goal, and I mean, he's just blanking all the fucking every game. It's crazy.
The thing with Bruno though is that this is his floor, right? He will get an occasional pen, he will score an occasional worldie. He's that good. I think out of everyone on the team. Well, I think Højlund's looked kind of promising, but he's like a prospect. He's not really even a finished product. But if you just compare like Bruno Rashford, like Bruno is leaps and bounds better than him. Like it's not even remotely close. You watch these games, even when Man United are bad, Bruno still creates fucking 6 chances and like hits the bar. He's just so good. That's why this is his floor. Whereas Rashford's floor is like, you're getting hooked on 75, even though we're losing to Palace at home because you're just playing so fucking badly.
He's in Joel Ward's pocket.
He's the Joel Ward handball was hysterical, by the way.
Captain Joel Ward.
Unbelievable.
It's just fucking disgusting.
When's Joel Ward getting a yellow card suspension? It's got to be soon. It's only
that's it's very surprising. I feel like he gets one every game.
Well, yeah, he's 3 of the last 4.
Right, so because he's tired. He's races run. He played 3 games since he's like, fuck, I'm gassed.
Can't do that.
Can't do this anymore, Gaffer. I'm fucking cooked.
Oh my god. What about Anderson? If we're just going to talk about Palace defenders, and he's such a better pick than Gahey in FPL.
Oh my God,
even though IRL you hate Anderson, but it's not even close.
No, it's not even close.
He has the most donger.
Yeah, he has the most points of the defenders in the fucking league.
As he should. He has a 15 and an 11, a 9, and a clean.
Yeah, I mean he is just the biggest piece of trash that I've ever seen play football.
But he's also such a good pick. It's just ridiculous.
He's just better than Gahey. I mean, we started with Gahey, both of us. You still have him, obviously.
And he's been good.
Yeah, we have half the clean sheets of our fixtures, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine.
He's just one of those guys, and I don't really pay too much attention to this. I probably should if I want to do better at FPL, but he's just one of those guys that, like, by far leads the team in like baseline bones. And the reason that's important is because Palace usually wins. When they win, they score 1 goal, maybe 2 goals. They often keep cleans. And he's just in that position where if he scores the goal, he's max bones auto. If they keep it clean, he's often still max bones because he's just so much better than everyone else on the team at picking up bonus points. So
that's something different though this year, because last year he got no bonus points at all.
Oh, really?
He had literally 1 bonus point last season all year.
What?
Yeah, because usually his pass completion is horrendous because he's always spraying long balls. So he normally doesn't hit that pass completion threshold. He got max bones in the Chef U game, the first game of the season, and Gahey's typically making like probably does more fouls. He's kind of coming out of position and like doing that kind of shit a lot more. But Anderson wins his aerial duel sometimes. So I mean, I think because he was playing further up against Sheffield United, so he was making easier passes. So he probably hit that threshold. He had 31 BPS in the first game.
It's interesting. I just assumed it was always like this, and we just missed something. But it's clearly a change of style. Yeah, I mean, last year.
No, I don't agree. He has 2 games. He has goal in 2 games. He has max bones on that, and then there was the Sheffield United game. I think that was more
I'm looking at the baseline bones, and he's just by far the best.
Oh, compared to the
even
other
though
defenders.
last year he wasn't.
Compared to the other defenders on the team.
Compared to everyone on the team,
okay.
Keeper and defenders. Yeah. Whereas last year, now I'm looking at that. It's not close. Like Gay's way better on pass completion. Even fucking Decore is better on pass completion. But this year, Anderson's just popping off. Okay. Something to watch there. He's a pick.
Yeah, I mean, we have Lerman. We might be just progressing in a different way. I haven't like noticed it at all though. But
and it's a different manager, right? I mean,
Gahey's maybe not making as many simple passes, straightforward passes that also, as he did last year.
Yeah, Vieira was much more like build from the back, right?
Slow, so they were bullshit.
Yeah, so they didn't need Anderson's like raking long balls to Jayu, but this year that's a key part of the team.
I mean, it's also I don't know. I have to look back in the books, but I don't know how many of that is also him just getting chance created things because he's making some long ball and it's like to the wing and the guy like just dribbles a little bit and shoots. It's like Is that a thing? Like, I
right.
don't know.
Or I feel like also he like wins a header flick on to someone else, right? And
Sometimes
that's
that
also
happens,
like created a big chance. But yeah, I haven't looked too deep into it.
I don't know what to make of him. I mean, he had the Thunder Bastard. I mean, he had 2 goals.
That goal was ridiculous.
He had 2 goals in the 3 seasons before combined. I mean, he kind of just fucking floats around on set pieces and just does dumb shit generally, but he's in
you hate him so much.
I hate him. I mean, he's so
you just
dirty.
hate him. You won't
concede
that he's a good pick.
He's a dirty player. I don't.
I know.
No, he's obviously
a bastard,
good pick.
But he's a good pick. Yeah,
of course he's a good pick. Yeah, he's a good pick. He's a good pick. I mean, fucking Mitchell's a good pick. I mean, we keep cleans in easy games with this manager because we don't attack. We play with 9 defenders. So, it's good rotational pieces for sure.
Yep. Couple Man City questions. Ray said, what's the latest read on City now that Rodri's out for a couple more games? Do we look elsewhere for the captain with the way Arsenal? Fergie said, it makes sense to hit out Foden to Son, right? We also had a question, I think, it was in a wildcard section, but someone said, where was it? Oh, for those of us on wildcard, is Alvarez a hold? Been an insane pick for his price, but with City's upcoming fixtures and a number of other fun attacking picks, does it still make sense to squeeze him in? I mean, that Wolves game was fucking weird, and Pep wasn't on the sideline, and they created nothing, and I don't know what happened, but where are you on City?
They seem to have a difficult time against Wolves, I feel like, just kind of generally. The last
Wolves
few
have beat
years.
them a bunch of times.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. They see orange, maybe they're all like fucking colorblind or something. But, their fixtures, honestly, they're not that bad because United are fucking dog shit. And I think that's now captainable. I'm kind of like thinking a little bit differently about that game after watching Man United just week on week put up these type of performances. And then Brighton is, as we just saw, Villa absolutely disassemble them. He's not going to come into Etihad and just play like some conservative football. I mean, maybe they'll have Grob back, but they clearly missed him. And he played the Hinchelwood, like who knows what's going on there.
Oh my God, Hinchel.
Yeah, so Foden, I think, is just not in the top 5 midfield like category. So getting rid of him for any of these other Bowen related good picks, like totally acceptable. I think Alvarez is still just complete overthinking, overthonking. It's thonk emojiing. He does all the shit. I mean, they don't do anything and he just bangs a direct free. It's like, okay, cool, 8. Like, fucking genius guy, And he's just gonna find points because he's playing off Haaland and he's finding spaces. He gets shots. He's on all these avenues like that. That's kind of how I see that. How about you? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, I couldn't agree more. He's price rose, but his price is still absolutely absurd for the things that he's doing for the still best team in the world. It's way overthinking it. Like, and a lot of people are also looking for cheap guys now. With like people getting Mo and people getting Son and keeping Haaland, yada yada. He's fucking still 7 million and he's just unbelievable. We've like joked about best pick in the game all season. Like, he's the fucking best pick in the game. And he has been since game week 1. He has 46 points. He started at 6'5". He's started every game for Man City, playing second striker, taking all the corners, taking all the frees, creating all the chances.
Wouldn't the forward who is starting price at 8 million, who's actually most points in the entire game, be the best pick of the game?
You called that last year. You just didn't listen to yourself. You got rid of...
I listened to myself. I'm just a tilt monster.
All Ollie ever did to you is return every game. And you're just like, get out of my team, worst pick in the game. Disaster. That's literally all he did. And you just punish him. You just banish him.
I know, man. I know. That's what I do. That's how I play.
I should find the article. I don't remember. It was some middle of last season or something like that. I remember LR wrote an article about just like, do we have to rewire our brains in like the quote unquote like tough fixtures, like the big games, the top teams against each other? Because lately there's just been so many goals, and it's something we've talked about on the like lower end of the table. I think there's no, fucking Pulis's and Big Sam's and whatever. Those teams like rarely even exist anymore in the Premier League. But at the top, it's also true, right? There's no Conte, there's no Tuchel, there's no Mourinho. It's fucking Pep, Arteta, Klopp, De Zerbi, like attacking managers who score goals. And if you look at City, they fucking scored a ton of goals against the top teams last season. Throw Ange in there, like, right? Like these teams fucking attack. They go for it. And I just think that, like, again, we're probably just getting baited here, being like, oh, their fixtures are bad. Like, no, they're not. Like, there are so many goals. There's going to be so many goals scored in the next 3 game weeks in those Man City matches.
So many goals.
So many goals. And just away Arsenal, home Brighton, away Man United. Like, those are going to be fucking exciting. Well, maybe not away Man United. That's a joke of a game. But away Arsenal, home Brighton. Like, those are exciting, fun games that should be high scoring, in my opinion. So I want Haaland. I want Alvarez. Like, they're still good picks.
Yeah, it's still more just there aren't other good picks, kind of.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Midfield, I mean, Doku's, after that game when he scored his goal, he's been kind of bad the last couple of games. He was really disappointing to me against Wolves. And then, Rodri, obviously, that's going to affect the way they play. It's bad for them. And whatever, it's like, oh, Rodri's out, I'm going to get rid of my City players. It's just not.
You can't.
I have no idea. It's not good. Does it mean you don't? I mean, it's a piece of information. It's not great, but it's still like, oh, don't get Alvarez because they don't have Rodri. Like that doesn't calculate. That doesn't compete.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
And Foden, he just is playing reserved a lot. He's still a world-class player, and he's not a good FPL pick right now. It's just more and more. It seems more and more clear every game that passes. He's just doing so much more engine room stuff and, linking play rather than being at the end of things. And, he's got avenues. He takes corners, but they're all these little guys on their team. They fucking suck ass at set pieces usually. So no Stoney boy to bang them in.
Foden, I mean, how many years are we going to be just being like, Foden's so good, I just don't know where to play him. Like, he's so good, I don't know his best position. He's actually just such a weird player. He's, again, so good, but like, it's just been season after season after season, just being like, not sure where his best position is, not sure where Pep likes to play him, not sure how he helps the team. Like, before the season, we were thinking, Foden's going to take the Kev role, right? Like, Foden's the one that subbed on in the fucking Champions League final, not Alvarez. It's not for Alvarez. This is like fucking big boy, best player role. And just like, nah, Alvarez is the Kev role, and Foden can.
I don't know about that. I think it's kind of ridiculous that we're trying to say like someone's gonna do. No one does Kevin.
No one is. I'm not saying he's putting up Kev numbers or performing as well as Kev, but it seems like a lot of the responsibility is going to him. It's going to Alvarez. Creativity, further attacking 8.
I mean, I think
like that.
I think he sort of split Kev's things into both of them, like where Alvarez, like,
we'll make
Foden's
it up in the aggregate.
Well, because Foden's doing a lot of defensive work, like he's doing a lot of like winning the ball back and like doing shit in the middle third, and Alvarez gets to float around and drift into spaces. He's not really like playing defense very much. I haven't watched all their games. I've missed more City games than I usually do at this point of the season, but I still think that Foden is doing absolutely everything being asked of him, and I think he's doing it at an extremely high level. It's just not it's not good for FPL points. Yeah, and I think it is really integral to how the team functions. And
no, I agree.
It's just such a different way.
I would have guessed that he would have been the one with like attacking freedom and just taken on that role of like, wow, Foden's getting more shots. Foden's leading the lead,
and I think
leading the team in key passes and like all this stuff.
I think that's Pep. Like, I think he's not allowing him to do that. I think he's really shackling him and saying, like, I need you to do this. Yeah. And you're not doing that anymore. I agree. Because we still see him periodically. I mean, look at his NFL. Like, he still makes a striker run periodically. Yeah. He can't help himself. Yeah. But, by and large, I feel like, Pep, this is how Pep sees him. And he's been there for a long time. And I feel like he's just now actually tactically, like, smart and good enough to play these minutes and be relied on like this, So, I mean, I think he is evolving and he is taking an enormous step forward this season as a player, but just not for FPL.
Not for FPL, yeah. All right, we got to go to the Spurs Liverpool match, and we got questions.
They played? I didn't even notice. I didn't even know they played.
Yeah.
Anything
you had gymnastics, right?
Yeah. Anything happen? Was it busy? No, I used my a very rare ticket punch to stay home and have the wife take
and you were so regretful when the red card happened because it's like, we were getting robbed of an entertaining game.
It was fucking livid.
And then everything popped off. Everything
it was very
imaginable happened.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. I was pissed, but whatever. Spurs. I mean, the main Spurs questions, I think, are basically not about this game. They're about the future games, the really good fixtures, the reason everyone's bringing in Son and Matto, away Luton, home Fulham, at Palace, home Chelsea, at Wolves, next 5. Fossey G said, is Luton away a Matto game or a Sun game? Jabroni said, is Luton bad enough that it cancels out the early game cap lore because they're the first game of the weekend? And I think people are, maybe not going Holland.
Yeah. What do you see in there?
Yeah, I mean, long story short.
We have time. Do you want to tell a long story?
Let me tell you a long story here. No, but thinking about the majority of the Liverpool game, which was, down 1 or 2 players, low block, just trying to hang on and like counterattack with 2 players. Spurs really struggled. I mean, Spurs created fucking nothing.
Spurs were awful.
They created a Son really, really good chance that he scored. And they didn't create another fucking good chance the rest of the game. I mean, they're getting credited on XG for like this Richarlison chance off of
I don't give a shit
Aaron Manor Solomon shot. Like, it's like, if you watch the game, that wasn't a fucking real chance. And
well, it was. I mean, it's a rebound, right? So it's
it wasn't even a rebound. It was just a missed shot that kind of hit Rich's toe.
Doesn't matter.
But what I was going to say is like the trend that I'm starting to see with Spurs, and obviously it's very early into Ange's, tenure there. It's like they're struggling against the low blocks. I mean, they didn't create a goddamn thing against Liverpool in that game. Once the game got like settled to how it was going to be the rest of the time, they've really struggled in that Sheffield United game. They really struggled in that Brentford game, the first one of the season. Those are the only 3 like low blocks they played. The other games were Man United, Bournemouth, Burnley, Arsenal. High line, high pressing, all the shit. They look good. They express themselves. They score tons of goals, yada, yada, yada. And so, like, obviously away Luton is good. I'm not trying to say away Luton's not a good fixture. They're so bad that it might, all of this shit might not even matter that I'm saying tactically. But it's not just away Luton coming up. I mean, there's away Palace, even away Wolves. I think that if this trend continues, what we're going to see is like those games are a little baity, and Spurs are going to like struggle to actually create anything in those games, and they're going to be open to counter in those games. But what I'm also seeing is that like home Fulham, home Chelsea, oh my God, they're going to fuck those teams. Because Fulham plays a high line, they press. Chelsea is like the highest pressing team in the league this year under Poch. They're fucked. They're going to get fucking annihilated that game. But that's just that was my only like real what can I learn from this fucking 9 versus 11 fucked up game. That was my one takeaway for Spurs.
Yeah, I mean they were just bad. The performance was really bad. I think Matto was categorically horrendous. It was one of the worst games I've ever seen him play, and I mean, no one's talking about the players or the actual game because everyone's just talking about the refereeing.
It's so stupid. Except for the pass that set up the goal was unreal, right? But like, I mean,
he's not going to do literally nothing when he plays 90 minutes in a game. But I mean, he's their creative hub, and he's the one that needs to be doing more in the low block games like you're describing.
Yeah.
And we know that he likes to take a couple touches. I mean, they don't move the ball fast enough, and Kulusevski's I'm done with him. My head's totally gone with him.
Yeah.
And the fact that Richarlison was even picked instead of Solomon is just beyond my comprehension. So this was the first game I actually I'm starting to take exception with his player selection. The bigger, more comprehensive concern to me with Spurs, I agree with what you're talking about, the low blocks. They haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
They did, the Sheffield United game, I'm not sure. They have to go through some of these to learn what's going on.
Yeah, it's the type of thing where I'm not even really blaming them. I'm just pointing out, Klopp had the exact same problem.
Oh, yeah,
Pep had the exact same problem.
Yeah,
but it's just a thing. Yeah.
No, totally. And, Brennan Johnson, I think they're going to really miss him because he's someone that could get to the bottom. But, ultimately, Ange needs to... I think he's looking at this more of my squad is an actual laugh riot. Every single sub he makes is making the team so much worse. It's unlike anything.
What?
Yeah, the bench, every game, the bench is absolutely ridiculous.
It's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Where's
how
Lo Celso?
bad.
Did he get re-injured?
Who gives a fuck, dude? He's always hurt. He's just a joke. Yeah, he's not
very
available.
Under the radar. Perison's injury was devastating for them.
No, that was a huge
He came
injury
on and
for
played
them.
good 20 minutes in every game.
Didn't make the team worse. The team, there's nowhere to go. So if they don't end the game by 60, apparently Son just can't play full games.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know if he's hurt or not. I guess Kulusevski's the only player that can never get subbed off. But,
right.
I could see them wobbling and dipping really soon. I hear what you're saying about low blocks. They do have they've had some mixed fixtures. They did just come off of a couple of huge games against Arsenal and Liverpool.
Yeah.
These kind of these lower in the table teams, they're just not playing that well, honestly, to me. Spurs, just overall in the season, they've had good moments. It's exciting because they pass the ball forward and they don't just park a bus, which is what we're used to.
Yep.
They've been having a lot of individual players just kind of not showing up. And I think Kulusevski's honestly is a huge problem for me. He's just a huge, enormous problem. That wing is just a black hole. I don't know what's happened to him, but he's so slow. It seems like he has to take an extra 3 minutes to process what's going on. Whenever he gets the ball, it's wrong decision, cut back, 5 touches to make a back pass instead of make a little riskier progressive pass.
Yeah.
Whenever he gets the ball, I'm just all right, guys, let me drink my coffee and look at the wall.
I still want to see him on the left side. I know it's counterintuitive because he likes the inverted guys, but let him cross. Let him pass with his strong foot at least. If he's not going to beat a man, he's never going to score a fucking goal.
I have no idea why that hasn't been tried yet. And playing Rich on the wing I hope we don't see that ever again. It's ridiculous. It's just a ridiculous joke. He does nothing. He just doesn't do anything. He just runs in a straight line. And it's I don't know.
Again, he
doesn't offer
big
anything,
thing, right? So that's what Spurs fan will be saying, right? He assisted the goal. He made a great run, great pass, no matter. But the rest of the game happened, right?
Yeah. It's there. Yeah, so they're at a crossroads for me right now.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because it's separating what we're saying from FPL and from IRL. Son, Matto, great picks. Everyone should have them in their teams, right? If I was wildcarding today, no question. Both of them in my team, not even a question. Because they're still going to score goals. But I do think that in those games, also home Villa on the horizon, those are going to be the games where I'm kind of fading them in my head a little bit. Where I'm just I think they're going to have a tough time today. Whereas I'm probably capping him home Fulham, home Chelsea. I'm oh my God, fucking let the blood rain from the skies.
Yeah, I don't think home Chelsea is capital, but yeah, I take your point.
Yeah, maybe not, but
the squad's a problem though. Thank God they only play 1 game a week. Could you imagine if they? They have if they suffer 2 injuries, they're a bottom 10 team immediately. If they suffer 2 injuries to their starting 11, seriously, they are.
I know.
They just are. Other than Hoj, who can maybe step in and you're not going to miss too much. They're It's an issue. You know, I mean, all these teams are making 5 subs and, you know, they're just not going to be able to hang for very long. I mean, they almost lost to 9-man Liverpool. Like that's what they're up to. So
yeah,
I think we did learn a lot about them. I think that the 3 points was just like a huge smokescreen to a much broader and scarier, you know, subtext or underbelly of, you know, this, you know, they're gonna have some valleys and they're likely going to be arriving pretty soon. So that said, you know, Sun Matto. I think Luton are bad enough. I'm still captaining Son.
It's like Pape Sarr is second in the team, I think, in XG and second in the team in big chances. Right? It's like in those games where they've struggled, Sheffield, like he's the one who gets a big chance. And in that specific game, it was Basuma and Sarr got the only chances that were big chances, that were good chances. Obviously, they scored 2 goals in the fucking 100th minute and win. You know, sure, whatever. But like, the like crashing 8 it seems to be the one that can get the chances. Son did nothing in the Sheffield game. He didn't exist. He also did nothing in the Liverpool game outside the big chance that he scored. Right? He couldn't get a shot. He couldn't get involved.
Yeah.
So it's something that they're going to have to work out. You know, obviously, Anne just looking at this too. I'm sure he knows, but it's just something to watch, something to flag.
Yeah. They still haven't gotten a pen all fucking year. I don't know how that's possible.
Yeah, that seems actually impossible with how much they touch it in the box and dribble and stuff.
Yeah. He has to play. He has to play Solomon.
Solomon's been good.
I don't know why he's not starting.
He actually has been good.
He should be starting every game. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He should be starting every game.
And then on the Liverpool side, I mean, the questions we got were just sort of like, who should we get outside of Mo? Platty said, what are your thoughts on Diaz for the next 1 to 2 weeks before a wild card? Mishka with his every week, he's asking, is Darwin essential now? So I think I'm going to start ignoring that question, Mishka, because you just ask the same thing every fucking week. But, yeah, I mean, the Liverpool fixtures were right around the corner from them having... I mean, at Brighton's not even bad. We've learned that this season,
and
right?
Brighton's playing Thursday, too.
And the worst fixture they have coming up is home Everton after the international break. I'm sure it's the morning game. I haven't even looked. I would bet my fucking... it's the Saturday morning game after international break because that's all Liverpool get after international breaks. So that's a nightmare fixture. That looks good. That's a nightmare. That's a 0-0 every fucking time. It's the opposite of North London Derby. But other than that, it's at Brighton, home NFO, at Luton. It's just a lot of goals to be had there. Yeah. They're still attacking relentlessly when they're down to fucking 9 men. They're trying to win the game.
Yeah, Brighton are at Marseille Thursday. I just checked.
Yeah, I think Liverpool have Union Saint-Gilloise or whatever. That Belgian team.
Is it at home or are they going to Belgium?
I don't remember, actually. But so Jota's red carded. Gakpo's in a knee brace. Darwin had some muscle thing.
I mean, he was going to come on.
He was going to come on like 60-ish before the second red card. So I assume it's Diaz, Darwin, Mo. I mean, I would be shocked if that's not what we see.
I also think that there might have been some gamesmanship from Klopp saying that, and he just didn't want him for this fixture for some other reasons, and he didn't want to just destroy the kid's confidence after he's
or he just wanted him off the bench, which I think is also a thing.
I'm saying more specifically to this, potential him having an injury or a knock or like. He literally started like 3 games in a week or whatever, right? Like he just started 2 games in a week, and he's saying he had something from international break. It's like, what the fuck?
Is this
or he's laying a trap to not send him to Uruguay? Next
that would
week.
be fantastic.
Maybe he's doing one of those. Who knows what he's doing? But the numbers say, well, yeah, Jota and Gakpo are unavailable. Therefore, Darwin. And also, I have no idea. Like, he might just fucking be hurt. Like, he's probably going to have to start him on Thursday.
5 forwards, and 2 of them are hurt. Right? Like, Doak is nailed on Thursday, right? Like, that's 100% happening.
Well, he's going to have to start Jota because he's not available in the league, right?
It's going to be him. Jota, Doak, and Mo or something like that because Mo just never gets a brace. Maybe not Mo, but who knows who.
Maybe another kid. I don't know. But I mean,
but
Darwin, Diaz is like fine. I don't know.
I mean, dude, the same thing that we said earlier in the season, though, after he got some returns.
Lightweight.
Dude, he got 2 big chances that game.
Score.
And he scored a fucking goal that should have counted.
Yeah.
But like, if you total that with his total, he's over 1 XG, probably like 3 shots. Like, he's just arriving. And like, I think he goes hand in hand with this new Mo, who's just like a creative god.
Yeah.
Like, all Mo does is like, he stands up the defender who's too scared to tackle him. Like, all Udogs can do is back off. And then he picks out a pass for a fucking huge chance. Yeah, like, no defender challenges him when he's face up with the ball, and he's just picking out passes like he's been doing it his whole career. And I mean, Diaz is just like that slasher that's the recipient of all of them. So I do think he's a good punt. I mean, he's a good short-term guy. Get him for the next 4, reevaluate kind of guy, I think.
Yeah, I'm torn on Diaz. It's tough still for me looking at him compared to the other midfielders in the game and saying I want him over these guys. Like, how do you fit him in? You know, that's tough, right?
Yeah, and that's ultimately why I think like you went Darwin and other people are talking about Darwin is because like forward is so much less contested. You know, now Ollie threw his hat in the ring, etc. But there's so many midfielders and so few spots. But forward felt more like you could get a forward here, maybe.
I mean, not necessarily. I mean, I could have gotten him instead of Darwin very easily. I think, you know, just when I look at players like, you know, I'm looking for huge returners, you know.
Yeah.
I don't see Diaz really as a double returner. You know, I mean, in general, I feel like he's like, you hope he gets on the end of the one chance, right? I mean, he's getting some back post balls his way.
Yeah.
He's a winger. Like, he's taking shots from distance. Like, he's not in and around the penalty spot very often.
Yeah.
And, you know, Darwin can score. You know, he just scored a hat trick the other day, right? In the other fucking league or some shit. I don't know, whatever he does. But, you know, scores.
I don't think so.
Did he hit the pen or no? I'm thinking of someone else maybe. But, I mean, Darwin's double returned twice already this season. He's barely played.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just think that he's just a better FPL pick. Not necessarily because he plays forward.
It's a fact.
But also, you know, I mean, is Diaz worth it in this little run? You know, I'm not sure. You know, I'm still not sure what to make of him. Honestly, I don't love him, but I also don't, you know, dislike him.
Yeah, it does feel like you're kind of you're putting yourself in a position to get lucky a little bit with him, right? Like, it's a little bit like, hopefully these are the games where he gets his like back-to-back goals, because, you know, it's going to happen, but you just don't really know when, because it could just be like 3 blanks in a row also, and that wouldn't be weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a fine pick. I mean, it's also just, and Liverpool, what a fucking weird Liverpool season, man. I mean, what have they played? They played 7 games, right? So what is that? That's 630 minutes. So they've had 25% of their games, they've been down at least 1 man. 25% of the minutes in the Prem.
Stop doing that.
It's like, how do you even evaluate this team? Like, what the fuck is happening?
They need to stop doing that.
Yeah, it's a really bad idea. I agree. Yeah. Let's talk about some wildcarders. There were a bunch of wildcards pop this week, last week, including you. And then I think a lot of people after this disaster week for many people are also popping it. Mike Dunny said, if my squad isn't a complete state, does 2 free transfers rule out a wildcard? Homburg said, my no Holland draft has me like 90% going that way. Slate me on the pod or applaud my bravery. And then Art said, I'm thinking about going Mo over Holland for 3 game weeks and swapping them, sort of playing the fixtures with huge risk, yay or nay?
I mean, after just wildcarding myself, I just don't understand why you can't have both. It's so easy.
It's
so easy to make team with both of them.
I agree.
You know, you obviously can't have every good pick. You know, you don't have a budget of 115 million.
Fitting in trips and Son and Mata. Like, it gets kind of hard. Yeah, it gets hard.
And also, I don't think that Mo or Holland should be the make weights. You know, that said, We just talked about Holland's. I think if you want to just try it, see what happens because you're a little bored, you're doing badly, yada yada yada. Go for it. And Holland has, what he does, what he can do.
Yeah. Don't complain to us when he fucking haddies in one of these games.
Yeah, it's dumb, but dumb shit works all the time. You could dodge, he
got the Craig Dawson matchup out of the way, so he's good to go. All the other games are good.
Yeah, he's ready.
I don't know, 2 free transfers, does that rule out a wild card? No, but it kind of feels bad, right? It feels like you wasted a week.
Yeah, it definitely feels bad. You have to look at the team specifically. If you're going to make, 8 changes, that's more than 2,
Yeah.
But if you're looking at, if I could do a triple move and then my team is just, and take a hit, usually that's okay. But you could be in a complete, you could still be holding 2 Man United players with multiple Chelsea players for all I know. And then it's just just wild card.
Right. Which I think is a lot of people's motivation to wild card. They're on Sterling plus 1 or both of the Man United guys like me. And they're just what the fuck am I doing? Cammy said, now that we're stretched for funds, what cheap enabler glue guys are you seeing besides JWP? And Cammy said, Neto's been quietly ticking along and looking lively. Is it Neto time? Those 2 questions felt very related to me because Neto just looks unplayable right now.
I just still don't see it as being a sustainable thing for Neto. It's just...
Yeah. He has to make a 70-yard solo run to get a return.
Yeah. You're relying on assists for a player that plays on Wolves. Just think about that conceptually. Yeah. I know he has a lot of points in the bank already, obviously. He's got 6 returns. But just watching them play it's Neto obviously individually looks very good. He looks like what we were hoping he would be last season. Yeah, I guess he just needed an extra year. But they have some decent fixtures coming up. I don't know. JWP was creating a big chance every corner kick.
He is the obvious one. I know that Cammy said besides JWP. He got a fucking bonus point in a 2-0 win where he got no returns.
Dude, Bowen was just I was in a state that first half.
I saw you in Discord.
2 point blank headers. Fuckingham, Fotheringham, and
he had an unmarked 6 yards out point blank header against Liverpool too. Hit it, couldn't have hit it worse. And then the goal that he scores is diving low bender on the corner header in the corner. I don't know.
He never heads down. He just fucking needs to head it down. He's short or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably hard for him to get over the ball.
Yeah. But JWP is just...
He's the one.
Yeah, he's still...
I don't know if there's any other enablers that I really like.
Well, you were talking a little bit about Gordon. He got his 5th yellow card.
Yeah, he got the yellow. He's suspended.
Threw that out the fucking window. What does an enabler, though, really mean? It has to be someone who's under 6 or I
don't know, 6 or less, something like that, right? I would assume. Honestly, Eze is still not terrible, right? He has away Newcastle, home Spurs coming up. Home Spurs isn't even bad for him, probably. And then after that, it's at Burnley, home Everton, at Luton. He's got to run. He'll score some points. Eventually, they'll get a pen, right?
Maybe not. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like that.
I'm just looking for anyone. There's not that many guys.
No, there's not. And again, I was just wild card tinkering my life away. You don't need to be in this bracket, and you don't need more than one. It's just get JWP if you need someone in that price bracket. If not, just vacate, just evacuate the price bracket.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Diaby also, right?
I like him a lot. I really do.
You were trying to get me to get him in, and I was resisting just because I wanted Bowen so badly.
Yeah,
but
and they got the same amount of points, so no big deal.
Diaby has a nice run. He has the knock, but it looks like he's just fine. He probably just won't play on Thursday. But they have Wolves, Western, Luton, NFO, Fulham, Spurs, Bournemouth. It's as good as you could hope for.
As good as you can get.
6'7", good. Good. Yeah.
I mean, we should start grading teams on a scale of how many of the newly promoted sides have you played yet? Because if it's under 3, then you have some golden fixtures to come, right? Like Liverpool have played 0. Like they haven't fucking Luton, Sheffield, and fucking Burnley soon-ish, right? So like that's good.
That is good.
Greenback said, "Is anyone a must-have?" I'm doubting Holland even is. We don't need to talk about Holland. Is anyone a must-have? Son?
Yeah, I think Mo is. Yeah, I think Son is. I think you're.
Son kind of is.
I still believe Son is on pens, even though we have yet to see it.
I do too.
Son's a ridiculous pick.
Except he only plays like 70 minutes a game, so that's going to be... I cannot wait for them to get a pen late.
I don't understand why either. I mean, do you think it is that just because he is getting older? Because he's not even... I feel like he's not even running as much as I'm used to watching.
Didn't he used to do that a lot? Didn't he used to sub all the time when he just runs so hard, like so many sprints, and
is he still doing that? Does he look like that?
I mean, I don't watch them closely enough on like their pressing structure, but I would assume so. Like, there's no other reason he's coming off, right? I mean,
he's just the last 20 minutes is like the red zone for him of maybe pulling or straining something.
Yeah,
if that happens, they're fucked.
Yeah, he was also spending an entire year injured last season. So they're definitely trying to, maybe manage that. So
yeah, I do think Son is just a very, very obvious pick, and so I mean, same with Alvarez. I mean, I think I do think we're not playing with a big squad right now. I think those 4 should be in every team, and then you pick your other few attackers, and then defense could be anything.
Yeah. Speaking of other attackers, Ray said Bumo moved to wing back during the game versus Forest. Do we need to sell this man or do we hold faith?
I mean, he's been playing wing back. This wasn't the first time that happened.
Everton game too.
Yeah, he looks terrible. They look terrible. They're more or less non-functioning. I think
counterpoint. At Man United is his dream game. As an owner myself, he's not my biggest problem, so I'm not really looking at it. But at Man United, home Burnley, that's what Brentford live for, is just counter-attack games where they don't have to, the other team wants to possess the ball. They can just fucking chill and counter. Dream games. So
I was a lot more down on Brenham before the season. I'm a little more ruthless than you with these types of things. I think it's, again, we're watching this team just play really poorly, and I don't want to wait to find out if they're going to turn it around. I'd rather just get someone else who is a fantastic pick, and there are several of such players around him. They're just starting to struggle really badly, honestly. And his kitchen sink shit, his 3-5-2, 4-3, whatever. It's old. Teams know what he's doing, and they don't have Tony. It's starting to show more.
I think they're fine.
Yeah, and Bumo too. I mean, he's got 4 goals. I mean, he has a couple pens. I mean, it's not like he's whatever. You don't need to be held hostage by Bumo. I think Bowen's better. I think Diaby's better. I mean, I think they're just better picks. So
that's not a question. Like, if you're wildcarding, you're not putting Bumo in. But if you have a Chelsea guy or a Man United guy, hold Bumo. You're fucking fine.
I think there is a closer call for you to make with Bumo versus Bruno. I would probably rather keep Bruno and get rid of Bumo. Yeah,
that's crazy to me.
I think that's what I would probably do if I were you.
They're the same.
Yeah, one's just world class, and one is struggles to score 10 goals a season for his whole life.
Yeah, but he's $1 million.
Never has scored 10 goals a season.
Cheaper.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, how much. I mean, I know you want Matto, and that's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah,
but you could get Diaby. I mean, I don't know. They're both. I mean, it's the order. They're both the worst. Raz too. I mean, you need to turn those 3 into 3 different guys.
I just don't think they're that bad. I think they're fine. Patience in general has been very good to me in FPL. And that's just, this is just an example of like, I don't think it's a panic here. Like, I don't think it's a fucking, he needs to get out of my team immediately. I think they're just going to be fine. Obviously, the Everton game was bad. They were fine versus Forest. He created a bunch of chances. 2 good fixtures, in my opinion, coming up. They'll be fine. They do this every season. Even with Tony, they do this. They'll be good.
A few games
then they'll
bad.
lose 4 out of 5, and it's like, oh my God. And then they're just back to normal. Like, that's kind of what I think.
This year at all?
What? Yeah.
What do they have? 1 win? I mean, what are they doing?
Yeah, I mean, they outplayed the fuck out of Spurs. They beat Fulham. They were decent in the Palace game. They were good against Bournemouth.
Yeah.
And they fucking Newcastle beat some of the
draws.
Newcastle beat some of the Pen. They played them evenly. They just beat everyone except Liverpool and City, basically.
Newcastle were also kind of conserving that game.
Yeah, but
I don't know. We'll see.
They're
see
good
where
at
this
that,
ends up. I mean, you say that you just transfer Wiss out, so your patience does have an end, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So for him, it was 5 blanks.
They're just different assets, though, right? Like Wissa is open play goal or nothing, whereas Bumo has open play goals, open play assists, set pieces, and pens.
Yeah,
those are way different assets to me. Also, Alvarez versus Diaby or JWP. I don't think it's close either. Yeah. So it's like,
I mean, Bumo's just getting the stay of execution for you because you have other better moves to make.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you don't, I could see very many teams where he's your worst player, and that's your best transfer is getting rid of him.
See, I just don't think those teams actually exist in reality because unless you wildcarded, everyone's on fucking Man United guys still. Tons of teams still have like Raz and like just like randos. I don't even know who they have. Like, and it's just like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, fair. I'm a hater, dude.
Yeah,
I like them.
I know. You always have been. Yep. Jeff said, if you're choosing between Diaby and Diaz for the upcoming set of fixtures, who are you preferring? It's got to be Diaby, right?
I don't know. No, I don't think it has to be. I think that's really close.
It's.
I mean, I still am very, skittish around Villa. 6-1 home.
Yeah, I know.
Brighton.
They're so weird.
I mean, Brighton just fell apart. I mean, they had
and
no
every
midfield.
Shot went in.
I'm sorry, he cannot play Duncan Webster together ever again. I don't know how he keeps playing Webster.
He also can't play fucking Steele.
Well, fucking whatever. The other guy, Bart's it doesn't matter. But why doesn't he just play Van Heckening? I don't understand why he's not playing every game.
You have to play Hinchelwood.
I mean, Hinchelwood, whatever. But he's clearly better than Webster. It's not close. Webster and Dunk together, flat-footed, playing the high line is obscene.
Igor hasn't gotten a shot. There's no way he's not something, right? Like,
I mean, I mean, look, it turns out...
He said in the post-game, about the rotation and the extra fixtures, he was totally honest. He was just like, this is hard. He was like, this is not like last season. We have to, learn how to rotate. We have to learn how to play 3 matches a week. This is, a totally new challenge.
Yeah, we don't have to do shit. He has to do it. And he's doing...
He meant we, the club.
Yeah. But, I mean, he's, becoming... a meme of himself or something where he needs to make more changes every game than he made the last.
It's crazy. He's competing with Pep and change team fantasy.
I mean, they don't play it every.
It
was different last year when they were playing actually every other day when they had 4 games in a week.
That was
1 point.
Yeah, at the end of the season. Yeah,
but at this point, I mean, he's got a couple injuries. Surprise, Lallana's unavailable again. This I think can be a little bit more simplistic to they don't buy defenders enough. I mean, they don't have he's playing midfielders at fullback regularly. And when Gross gets hurt, is it a house of cards? I mean, it could be, but he's not. I don't know what he's doing playing well. You're just watching that shit. Watching them both turn is painful. It's just painful. Webster's not Webster barely had that pace 3 years ago, and now he fucking does not have that pace. But he keeps playing like it's not an issue. It's an issue.
Very awkward season for Brighton, and I wonder where De Zerbi's managing next season, because
I mean,
I
he
could
didn't
definitely
play
see any top team in Europe is going to go for De Zerbi.
Yes, I mean, I think he should start to get a little bit more scrutiny, because look, you don't start some Hinchelwood who's played 0 minutes, his first game of his literal life, at Villa Park in a huge game. You don't do that.
And they win every game
negligent.
at home, Villa.
Yeah, that's just negligence.
Like, it's fucked up.
I don't give a fucking. I don't care how good he looks in training. Look at his face. It's like you don't start this child in the engine room at Villa Park against seasoned grown men. Like, this is what you get. You get fucked.
Where's the Hood?
He's just been playing. I mean, he's started a couple league games. I think he probably wants him for Thursday. He's
been good.
I think he's managing too many minutes.
Baleba, they bought for not a little amount of money. Wasn't he like 30 mil or something? He hasn't started a game yet. He's played 20 total minutes.
I don't know a single thing about that guy.
I just know that they sold fucking what's his name to Chelsea, and then they immediately bought Baleba for like 30 mil. Yeah. And he's like a DM. And he's played 20 minutes. I mean, I'm obviously, it's not ideal. Maybe you want to bet him in. He's 19 years old. But if you're starting Hinchelwood over him, what's happening? What's actually happening?
I don't know. Yeah,
he lost the fucking bet.
Yeah.
I bet I could beat Emery with Hinchelwood. Pep's like, no way. There's no chance.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it does feel like he's a little bit lost at sea right now.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with these play every 2 or 3 days kind of European weeks, is just you actually just don't have time, right? Like he is lost at sea. I completely agree, and all he wants in the world is can I just have a week to prepare for home Liverpool? And the answer is no. You have to go away to Marseille, which is going to be a fucking brutal game and insane environment. And then you have to play Liverpool 2 days after that.
I mean, I guess it is tough. That's tough. And the other aspect too, I suppose, is the squad. When Milner and Lallana, they have fucking Welbeck, but they don't have very many players who have done anything before.
Yeah, and they sold their best 2 midfielders.
Yeah, this is new for mostly all of them. They have Fati, who just got through on loan, who knows whatever. So, he could also just be getting slightly let down by just the players and the circumstance. Yeah. Maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh on him after this one performance, but
they are very young too. Yeah,
they could just, because they're so.
I think they're just going to be inconsistent. I don't think it's like a Man United situation, right? They're not going to drop to 10th and just be we're going to lose every game. But they're just going to sometimes look great and sometimes just get fucking done by Everton. And it's just fuck, it was a bad one. I don't know, that they lost 5-1 Everton at the end of last season. And it's just that's just how they're going to be. They could play fucking amazingly against Liverpool and City their next 2 games and no one would be surprised. And they can lose
they get 4-0
in either of those games and no one would be surprised.
Well, we wouldn't. I think a lot of people would be surprised.
I think, national media might be. Yeah. Fair.
Yeah, we'll see. But their squad suddenly with Gross out and, Milner and Lallana unavailable, it's tough. He's got a tough job right now, dude.
Yeah.
And
it's tough.
It does also, it's, I think he's got his leg in both camps, sort of, where it's I think he really needs to just pick one, in these moments. He can't keep doing this because they're just going to get fucked in the league and get dumpstered out of this European
competition. You mean?
Yeah, it's pick.
If you were having a meeting with him in preseason, and the goal you assume is Champions League football, you have to say, like, what is more likely, us finishing top 4 or us winning Europa League? It's probably winning Europa League. Like,
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Preseason,
top 4 is tough.
I think preseason, I would have agreed with you, but I think the way that the season's going and looking at the other top 4 contenders, I mean, I think 4th is very much within their grasp.
City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Newcastle, Spurs.
Yeah, I think Spurs are going to fall down. And I think it's really Newcastle. Like, can Newcastle sustain? Are they going to win enough 1-0 grindy games? You know, I mean,
Newcastle
if you're Brighton,
are good, man. I think Newcastle are just...
Dude, Brighton
I know, but like,
teams
I
away.
think you're underestimating Newcastle.
Dude, I think you're underestimating how hard it is to win a tournament. Like,
yeah, of course,
so
but
hard.
Yeah, it is. But like at the same time, they're probably like, I haven't looked at the betting odds or anything. They're probably like 3rd favorite to win it because that's the quality of the competition.
Oh, are they in which? They're not in the Europa League. They're in the other one.
I think they're Europa. Are they Yeah, Villa's in conference, right? And they're Europa? Or is that wrong?
All right.
Yeah, I think because they're against Marseille and Ajax and shit. Yeah, it's Europa, yeah.
I mean, how can they even have a book on that? Because we don't even know what Champions League teams are getting dropped into this competition.
Yeah, well...
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean, their group, it's like
is.
they... Anyway, it doesn't matter, but
matter.
I think there is something to, he has to sort of pivot after he's watching and seeing what's going on. I mean, they're losing in both of the competitions, and then they have the international break, and like all their players, since they're the United Nations team, go to literally every country and every continent they send players to.
That's such a like Lombardiism. I mean, he's never said those words, but him calling a team the United Nations team is just so Lombardi of you. I love it.
It's true though. I mean, they have the best player from they represent every country. Nation. Yeah, any weird ass country on anywhere, they have their best player, so they're going to internationals.
100%.
Except for Hinchelwood, who's probably British and will never see the light of day.
I mean, his family's been hincheling wood since the fucking 16th century. Let's be honest.
Yeah, right.
All right. We got like 5 more questions. Jitterbug said, can we have a 20-minute discussion on why Broja is the best pick in the game? What a phenomenon. Well, he missed a fucking ridiculous sitter to start the game, but he was good otherwise. I mean, he's always good, right? Like, he's just good.
He's an amazing player. I mean,
he's going to keep starting, I think.
Yeah, he should. He's
just good.
Yeah, he's a good pick. I mean, he's a good pick.
Yeah.
I would definitely spend time tinkering like with him as a starter and see where that gets me. Like, if he is
on Wildcard or something, you mean?
Yeah, if he's the ticket to jamming trips in the defense and you're going 3-4-3, I could see that being a good thing.
I was trying to push you on him.
Yeah, no, until I was thinking about him before. I was like, I'm just getting Darwin. And then there was no spot. Yeah, I was thinking about him. Of course, I'm always thinking about him. I'm a whole Broge.
Hashtag hold Broge.
Was that Discord 2 years heads. Ago?
Yeah.
2 years ago?
Real Discord heads now. Yeah, 2 years ago, 21-22 season. I think he blanked for like, what did he blank?
Games?
Like 15 games in a row or something like that. It was something absurd. And then the games you would bench him, he would auto sub in. The year of Hold Broge, Southampton Broge. Oh my god,
I love that.
I'm trying to find the season. I think it was just.
It had to have been 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was. It was just game week 25 through the end of the season. He blanked every game.
Yeah, I had him that whole time.
No goals, no assists. Incredible scenes. Graham Burglar, who should I be getting rid of first between Rashford, Bruno, and Raz?
Got to be Rashford for me.
I think Rashford, and part of my answer is also like the price, right? Like Rashford's 8-8. You can get Matter. You can probably get up to Son if you have anything in the bank, whatever. Yeah,
I
agree.
I think Raz, after the Burnley game, you get rid of him, fire him to the Sun.
Yeah.
I think, it's fine.
Yeah,
too.
he has one game maximum left in everyone's team.
Oh wait, no.
Two captain questions.
Yeah, I would definitely keep Bruno, and I would do first Rash, then Raz.
Then Bruno. I agree with the order. We have two captaincy questions. I mean, we usually don't talk too much about our team, but I do think it's an interesting captaincy week. And Phoenix said, does the early Sunny Boy subs concern you to look elsewhere? He's going to start, but the minutes may be limited somewhere for captain this week. Jeff D said, do we cap City away to Arsenal, who will surely be going for it, or Sun in the early kickoff? Or Luton so bad early, kick lore can't possibly apply? Same question as before. I mean, who are you on? What are your early thoughts on cap?
I didn't think much about it. I just put it on Sun when I just saw Luton.
Yeah, I've had it on Sun, but I'm considering not going Sun after like the little bit of thinking I've done about Spurs that I talked about earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty strongly talking about Matto over Sun for the Sheffield United game. If you remember.
Yeah.
So, I'm not a million miles away from that, even though I thought he played bad and has been, kind of annoying in my opinion. But I think Mo is a reasonable option.
I was thinking about Mo, and I'm still thinking about Holland. I mean,
really, I'm not there.
I am. I mean, just look at those games from last season. I mean, he just absolutely took them to the cleaners. It was a joke of a game. He just did what he wanted against them and scored, I think, multiple goals. I think it's going to be an open, competitive game, but I'm not sure where I'm going to be on yet. It is between those three for me, though.
Yeah, I think it's difficult with Luton because they haven't gotten spanked lately. But they also have played absolute dog shit lately.
Yeah.
So, and they should have / could have conceded money more to West Ham. It seemed like West Ham just stopped playing at 2-0.
Yeah.
So it's still like, are they lulling us into a false sense of security? They're obviously bad. I mean, Sheffield United, when they played Sheffield United, did have their tails, Spurs, I'm saying, did kind of have their tails up. I mean, they just play the City game that they play them really tight. Is that the timing? 2 games before they drew Everton before they played Spurs, and they just barely lost to City. So they played them at a really bad time, I think, also. So I just don't know how much we should be reading into that Sheffield United, them struggling against Sheffield United, because
maybe not. It's early to read into anything, really.
Yeah, they did have they had all their guys were fit. They had the 2 deep banks. They know how to do that. They're doing it well. Foteringham, is so good. I just, could Spurs score 5 against Luton? I kind of expect it. So I do feel like,
yes.
Yeah, I do feel like it's a little bit overthinking to go elsewhere. When
it's just one of those it's one of those hard ones where I think that you can tell yourself both stories, and I think that both have a completely 100% reasonable case, right? You can tell yourself they're going to struggle. They're going to have all the ball, but struggle to get good chances. They're going to be taking bad shots from bad areas. Yada, yada, yada. Sun's only going to play 70 minutes. Yada, yada. That's one story. Story 2 is they're going to score early. Luton's going to try and play a little bit. They're going to fucking obliterate them. They're too good. They're going to draw pens. Luton fall off in the last 20 minutes. They're going to go nuts and score 5. And I think both are just very real. And it's just depends what happens, which is a really stupid way to look at it. But that's what soccer is. It's fucking random.
Yeah. I just think it's a little bit too much to be looking at, let me think more about this as the week progresses so that I can talk myself into something else versus they're playing Luton. First in the table is playing second in the table. That could be anything. Yeah. Just fucking whatever, Yeah. So, I mean, I think to me, I think I'm going to spend a little bit more time thinking about Sun versus Matto, but I think I'm going to stick to that fixture as my captain.
Yeah, that's very fair.
As I have been kind of planning on for weeks, not even just this week, right? I mean, I was on this, so yeah. I'll probably keep it on Sun, though. I think the Pens, the Sheffield United game was also, the Sheffield United game was also second game playing striker. I feel like he's getting better understanding.
The minutes are fucking annoying, though. I really got to say.
It is.
The amount of goals scored in the last 20 to 30 minutes, especially in these kind of games where it's they might be going for it, they're tired, yada, yada, yada.
It's fuck that. There's going to be 10 minutes of stoppage time in this game.
10 minutes stoppage time because they're wasting time. It's just all of that shit, and him just not being on the pitch is fucking bad. It's really annoying. It's fucking annoying.
Yeah, no, it is. And yeah, I mean, maybe that is enough for Matto. Give me an extra 20, 30 minutes. Maybe that's
a big difference.
Yeah, it's a huge difference. Maybe that is enough. But also, he played 71 minutes against Burnley. That worked out. He scored 20 points. So
yeah. Sometimes it's good.
Yeah.
Anything else, or should we maybe get out of here?
Yeah, let's go at it. We hit over an hour here.
Let me slap asses. 3 new Patreon signups: Marvin Dyers, Kimberly Hogendorn, and Neil O'Gorman. Fuck yes, baby, get in there. Good job by you. Thank you for signing up. We got midweek games. We got Champions League. We got Europa. Baba baba bing baba doo doo doo. Thursday Patreon pod. Friday live stream. The usual. Any last words?
If you want to talk about VAR, our Discord's doing that.
There we go. Yeah, if you want that.
If you're interested in that conversation, it's happening in our Discord.
Because I'm not interested in that conversation.
I have not participated. If you want to see tinfoil hats and you want to see Liverpool Ultras and Spud Ultras, impassioned arguments.
And Udog
Ultras. Dude, it's all in there. If you need new friends on the internet, we're all waiting for you, baby.
Yep. Check us out at FMLFPL.com. Follow us on Twitter at FMLFPL, sports.com/FMLFPL.